Hey, has anyone seen my neutral evil pin? Because I need it for the... Huh. Should I go in? Since when do I care about what you guys think?
Come on inside, young man, and take a seat, and allow me to relay to you your future. For I am the great Yhwach Ba-san, diviner of fate itself!
Sure you are. Okay, lady, I'm just gonna go...
Oh, would you just sit down so I can tell your future already, you dumbass?
Fine, I'll play along.
I have used my mystical crystal ball and my tarot readings in order to determine and divine your future.
This is turning into a very weird intro segment.
Now, where did I leave off before you distracted me like a dumbass? Alright, yes! Hee-hee! I have used my crystal ball to tell me the future of your existence.
Is this racist? It's 2016, so I feel this could be racist.
I don't know about that, but are there doubts in your heart that I can predict the future?
Well, I find it highly dubious that you can predict the future, because if you inform me of my future, I can take actions to prevent or alter that said future, resulting in time becoming more subjective rather than a straight progression of cause to effect reality. Ow!
Bitch, why'd you do that? Don't get smart with me, dumbass. I can use my powers to curse every single firstborn male in your family, provided you ever actually manage to have sex. Now allow me to continue doing my work as I eat this mango.
You know you're supposed to peel those things before you eat them, right?
Okay, I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead. Now, from what I can gather, my crystal ball is only showing me a single word, but it's being spoken like two words for some reason. I honestly can't make heads or tails of it.
Well, what are the words?
The words that your future holds. Bon and Kai. Ah, I see these words have quite a bit of relevance to you. May I ask that you look deep inside yourself to truly consider what this fate really...
No, not really. I was kind of expecting this. Can you get out of here? Because I need to take down all this porn lighting and do a review now. Sorry, everyone. I got tased in the balls last week, and I don't know if you've ever tried that yourself. By the way, don't recommend it. But if you ever have, that shit takes a while to wear off, okay? Okay. I think as long as I stay in this exact position and nothing too epic happens this chapter, I think I'll be good.
It's funny because I'm acting like I have no idea what's going to happen at the end of the chapter, even though I totally do. I mean, that'd be crazy otherwise. Like, how would I have all the screen captures set up to go, and I'd have to have, like, the absolute best comedic timing and better prediction skills than Notre Damus. That'd be crazy, right?
So, this will be Bleach Chapter 677 review, titled Horn of Salvation 2. Oh my god, it's so oh wait, hold on, shit. I already did that joke last week. I'm sorry, they start to run together after a while. Do you even know what this thing is from? Anybody? You know where it's from? It's Horn of Light. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh card that boosts defense by like 700 points, so pretty useless. Cool artwork, though. So, chapter continues on with Ichigo launching his Gran Rey Zero Getsuga Tensho Deluxe Double-Decker Surprise. against Yhwach, which slams directly into him. And even though it had a pretty cool, effect last chapter with Ichigo merging his Getsuga and the Gran Rey Zero together. By the way, I forgot to mention this, but it was really cool on Kubo's part that he let this in here. Last chapter, you see a bunch of blood erupting from, like, Ichigo's mouth, and it's, like, combining with the Zero. And that's a cool callback because we haven't seen Gran Rey Zero in, like, forever. But Gran Rey Zero, the one time it was used within the canon of the series, whenever Grimmjow used it, he had to mix his own blood with the Zero to make a Gran Rey Zero. It was used again by Silaporo in the Hellverse prequel, but we didn't actually see him hurt himself to charge it up. He was already in his release, and he used it against Shuren, and that was the only other time we saw it used. But yeah, you have to mix your blood with it, so that was cool that Kubo remembered, because a lot of other people I don't think did. Despite the cool premise of the technique, though, it still has the exact same shape as a normal Getsuga, just a hell of a lot bigger. It's digging into Yhwach as Ichigo is kind of like retreating at the same time. Yhwach looks a little bit surprised at first, stating that, you combined your Getsuga with Gran Rey. For a mutt born from a combination of all different things. It's a power that suits you well. But I'm still better because I'm Yhwach! Yhwach! I'm still better because I can see the future. I'm Yhwach. Yeah, so Yhwach just grabs the fucking thing and crushes it beneath his palms, stating that no matter what you do, you're simply out of your league, Ichigo. Alright, so you know what this reminds me of? This is a callback, not really a callback, but this reminds me so much of back when Ichigo had his first major confrontation with Aizen. We're not talking about the time in the Soul Society where, Aizen just, like, gave him the finger and then cut him in half. We're talking about when he arrives in Fate Karakura through the Garganta, and he has that first confrontation with Aizen, and then Aizen kind of, like, shoves him aside in the Gotei fight, and then after the Gotei, and after Yamamoto uses Ito Kaso, Ichigo attacks him again. And it's so fucking obvious. It is so clear to the audience and everyone reading it. Ichigo does not stand a snowball's chance in the 9th level of Hell. Actually, the 9th level of Hell is Kokus, which is a frozen lake. Okay, he doesn't stand a chance in the 4th level of Hell in Impel Down. One Piece reference, bitch. Point is, Ichigo is screwed. There's nothing he could have done to beat Aizen there. He was barely holding his own against Gin, and even Gin was kind of playing around with him. Do you think Gin could have killed Ichigo back then? I think he could. He was just Gin, and he was just, like, playing around with him with his Bankai. Point is, though, this was like the final battle, gearing up to the final battle with Aizen, and we're all sitting there like, how the hell's Ichigo gonna do this? And they're running through the Dangai, heading to real Karakura Town to fight God Aizen, and I'm thinking, what the hell's Ichigo going to do? He's not gonna be able to do anything. And then of course we have the whole Getsuga Tensho thing, but if that didn't happen, if that freaking Deus Ex Machina didn't just pop out of nowhere, it's like, by the way, Ichigo, there's a super secret technique that was never mentioned up to this point, and you have to learn it now to defeat Aizen. Oh my god, what? If that wasn't the case, that pretty much Kubo had to do that because there's no other way that he could have conceivably defeated Aizen. Same thing here. Yeah, Ichigo, he's got new power, he got his new swords, he's got hollow forms yet, but we know about Yhwach. We know all the powers well, actually, we don't even know. That's the point. We don't know all the shit he can do. But just from the stuff we have seen, he was able to defeat the leader of the Zero Squad, probably the strongest purebred Shinigami, with just his normal Quincy A powers. And since then, he's attained the power of a literal god. So it's like, Yhwach's here, Ichigo, after, Soul Palace training is here. Okay, he went into hollow form, that's pretty cool. You get notched up a notch here. And, yeah, there's still a pretty big gap here. So I don't see where this is going, unless Ichigo, his true power is still lurking inside of him somewhere. But how many times is he, this is my true power, I'm awakening. I just hope there's not another bullshit power-up. That's what I'm hoping here. This is what the ending of this rant is. I'm just hoping that at the last second it's like Isshin shows up and, by the way, you need to do this. Okay, cool. I'm now on the level of Yhwach all of a sudden. I don't get it, man. Ichigo rebounds off the side of a wall and charges at Yhwach once again with his sword. He goes to attack him. Yhwach releases, he has his own sword, which we still don't know the name of. I always used to call it Soiberong, because I thought that was a cool name for it. But back when he used it against Ichibei, it was like a physical sword he, like, pulled out of nowhere. Like, he's a master of Quincy. Like, obviously, Yhwach doesn't have the sword on him, so I guess he just uses the reishi around him and forges it into a physical sword, but here it's like just a pure reishi sword here. But yeah, he's parrying all of Ichigo's attacks with really no effect now. But keep in mind, Ichigo's in his hollow form, so of course his physical strength got a huge stat boost, but Yhwach is still parrying him no problem. I can read you like an opening book, Oh, I'm sorry, translation error. I can read you like an open book, Ichigo. Haha, yes, it says right here you're voiced by a guy named Moriata. I must seek him out and learn his power. Tell me all your secrets, Ichigo. Yhwach begins to, I don't really know, mind reading is really the thing, although if that was one of his new powers, would you really be surprised? He just goes on to guess what Ichigo is thinking right now, like, oh, he's underestimating me, which means he won't be using his true ability, which means if I attack him while he is underestimating me, then he won't use his hidden ability, so I can kill him before he has a chance to use his ability, because in that logic, Yhwach would be stupid enough to let me attack him and get him on the ropes and finish him off with one attack. That seems to be Ichigo's idea. Like, I need to hurry up and finish him off in like 1 or 2 attacks so he doesn't have enough time to go into his almighty power. And I'm like, Ichigo, do you really think it's going to be that easy? Did you really think it was going to be that easy, Ichigo? Seriously. Did you think this was going to be like, I'm going to go hollow, Gran Rey Cero Getsuga, end of fight? Because you're an idiot. I don't know how else to describe it. You're an idiot if you thought this was going to end. You know, this guy, you know, I know you don't know a lot about him, but you should know at least a little bit of his track record at this point. You should have not even, that line of reasoning should not even have crossed your mind, okay? Your logic was beyond sound. No, it wasn't, but continue. But now, that window has just been slammed shut. Oh, you know what? I just figured out the perfect person to take down Yhwach. It's Isshin. And not for the reasons you might be thinking. You might be thinking, oh yeah, Isshin, he's pretty strong, you know. We don't really know his Bankai yet, and his Shikai ability's pretty OP, and his physical strength is off the charts. You know, he's able to middle finger Aizen out of a freaking side of a building. You should probably go watch this video if you want any more information on that. But no, it's not for any of those reasons. It's because Isshin smokes like a pack a day. Alright, and here you have an enemy that's covered with nothing but eyes. I mean, do you ever get cigarette smoke in your eye? Like, that shit stings. It's annoying at the very least. You know, Yhwach, Isshin breaks in. Ryukin, too. Those two would be great tag battle. You know, Ichigo, you can step aside. They just start smoking. And Yhwach's like, okay, guys, come on. Come on, stop it. Stop it. I'm God. I'm God, damn it. I'm God. Almighty power. Oh, shit. Side note, in case you're unaware, my next door neighbor who lives, like, I don't know, 10, 15 meters on the other side of this wall, is the pastor at the local church, and she has a Bible study around this time, and it would be rather interesting if all her people that she's having over for Bible study is hearing me shouting over here, I'm God! I'm God! I'm God! You know, that would be kind of funny. But yeah, Yhwach activates his almighty power, which means he can see the future, and Ichigo charges at him and we get the title page. So we cut over very briefly to the bottom of the steps where Orihime must have just fallen down. I mean, she used her Shunshin Rika shield to block the blast, because I kind of forgot about that, because last chapter when Ichigo went into his like hollow form and he started like charging up his Cero, like that whole thing, like the roof got blown off the freaking Silburn. I'm sitting there thinking, I mean, I didn't even consider what happened with Orihime. It just shows how much I like her. But yeah, we see her at the bottom of the stairs, and she's a little bit bruised up, but her shield probably protected her from the majority of the attack there. Not this time. Not this time. Yeah, so I'm just going to go off on a limb here, call me crazy, but I'm going to assume that Orihime's not going to be an integral part of this battle anymore. Unless, I don't know, would you consider being a meat shield an integral part of a battle? Like, you know, if Yhwach has Ichigo pinned down, he's like, you're gonna die now, Ichigo! And then Orihime jumps in at the last second and, you know, no, Kurosaki-kun! And gets, like, cut in half. And then Ichigo goes into a blood rage and, you know, attacks Yhwach. Would you consider that integral part of the fight if she was only there to die to give Ichigo a power-up? And I'm not talking bullshit, alright? There's been plenty of theories circling around right now that might be the train we're taking out of the station here, so get ready! Ichigo draws his Bowie knife, his other Zanpakuto, to which Yhwach just summons another Reishi sword, and so they're both dual-wielding now. Ichigo gets knocked back, and he lands right on the ground as Yhwach states, ah, better watch yourself! That's a trap right there. Yeah, I've been meaning to move Giselle's corpse, but, you know, as soon as I wake up, I gotta deal with this shit. Haven't even eaten my breakfast yet, so pardon the fuck out of me. Oh, by the way, yeah, there's also another literal trap behind your feet, too. Ah, son of a bitch. So Yhwach set up some sort of shadow trap in the area where Ichigo landed, which pierces his foot. I don't really know how this is going about now, because he has the almighty power. Ichigo assumes, like, oh, so you saw where I was going to land before that, so you set up this trap. Now, I don't know if it was just, like, he just activated his almighty power, like, a few minutes ago, so after he activated it, he's like, alright, Ichigo's going to land over there, and then he's going to jump over there, and then he's going to do that, and that, and that, so I'm going to set up these traps all at once. Considering the shadow powers he has, it seems something really simple that, you know, oh, I see Ichigo about to land, my shadow powers will pierce his feet. That seems like something he would be easily able to do without even using the almighty powers. Just the tangible shadows he can manipulate, it seems like that would be easy enough. But yeah, Ichigo's foot gets pierced. He jumps off that and lands on a pillar. However, that one is also booby-trapped, which pierces his right foot. So now both of his feet have huge gashes in them, so he falls to the ground here. Although I was considering Yhwach might have actually been smart enough to put more traps the area he would land, because then he would just be fucked, you know, like, oh man, my foot got pierced, and he jumps up on a pillar, oh, my other foot got pierced, and now I'm gonna fall on the ground and just get like But no, Ichigo doesn't get pierced from 15 different directions. He lands on the ground, and he's you know, in pain now, because he basically can't stand up with his feet like that, but he manages to jump up out of the way anyway as Yhwach attacks him again. And of course, they have a discussion about Yhwach's almighty powers. Because what would a fight be without having a long, prolonged conversation? Next thing you know, we'll be having a philosophical debate during the middle of a battle.
It's funny because that's exactly what's going to happen near the end of the chapter. Aren't I so clever? Subscribe.
Okay, so kind of a funny moment. Ichigo states that, oh, well, no, you can't see all the future. You can't see the future perfectly, because if that was the case, you wouldn't even need to block me. You would have either you would have seen all my attacks coming in advance, and you would have dodged them, or you would have set up a trap to deflect them. You wouldn't even need to be blocking. And so Ichigo's like, this attack shouldn't even be able to hit you at all. So he goes to attack, and it totally doesn't hit him at all. And Yhwach just kind of grins, and he's just like, I would imagine Yhwach, I mean, not necessarily, I mean, it all depends on what Yhwach really feels like doing. I mean, I'm sure if Yhwach really wanted to, he can be like, yeah, I can read all your attacks before you even, land them on me, so I can dodge every single one. Yeah, sure, I could set up traps all over this area, but, you know, I don't feel like doing that, because this is way more fun, you know, that kind of thing. I think Yhwach just grins and he's like, yeah, I totally could do that, but this is way more entertaining for me to see you jump around like a trained monkey, you know, and I'm, you know, still parrying all your attacks, and you still have no hopes of beating me, so I could pretty much just... So Ichigo comes up with the stunning conclusion of, wait a second, his ability is to see the future? Then I know how to counter it! We just have to change that future. You know what, I will say one thing, I'm really happy that Kubo is not making that whole, we can change the future, you know, Back to the Future, Terminator 2 kind of cliche ending. Because how lame would that be, seriously? If Yhwach's like, I can manipulate the future, and then Ichigo's like, but I can change that future, and then Yhwach's like, no, it's impossible! And Ichigo just cuts him down, and that's that, you know? So I'm glad that that's the first thing that Uryu and Ichigo are jumping to, like, oh, we'll just change that track of fate. And Yhwach comes up with a pretty good explanation of how, yeah, you can try that, but it still ain't gonna do dick, because I'm still gonna be able to see everything. So Yhwach once again assumes what Ichigo is thinking, that, oh wait, I'll just change the track of history and everything will be good. And so Yhwach responds to that by saying, oh, if that's what you truly believe, then just stand right there. To which Ichigo does, and oh, now he gets pierced with all the different spikes from behind. So he gets pierced with these things, this trap that Yhwach set that wasn't there previously. Ichigo was sitting there for a little bit, and then Yhwach's just like, then the spikes shoot out. So Yhwach basically picks up a bunch of, I guess it's sand or like debris from the ground, like, you know, dust or something in his hand, and he's basically going on like the reason why that line of thinking doesn't work. He describes the timeline as basically like a bunch of grains of sand, and, you know, that they're scattering to the wind, and you can jump between each of them. You know, there's never a set track of, you know, that this is the one linear path of the future. To put it in another way, time is like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. And Yhwach explains that, oh yeah, if you want to, you can jump from one grain of the sand to the other, and then another one after that, and another one after that, constantly altering your own future. Just keep in mind, I'm the one that has the sand. I'm the one that's drifting the sand to the wind and is looking down from above it, so I see everything.
All right, even if you think, all right, he can see the future, so he wants me to go right, but I'm gonna go left. Oh, but he would expect that, so I'm gonna go from above. Oh, but he would expect that, so I'm gonna attack from below. Yhwach sees all that shit in advance. You know, the second Ichigo decides to go to that one path, Yhwach's already assumed what he's going to do with that path. He sees all paths at the same time. Now that you know the true nature of my power, Ichigo, you will die by my hand. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead in the script a little bit. Oh, here we go, page 4. Ichigo, I'd like to talk to you about the subject of hope. Of course not. Why wouldn't you, Yhwach? Why wouldn't you want to talk about hope at a time like this? You know, there's more talking going on in this fight than in, like, the common match of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the anime, of course, when every time someone activates Negate Attack, they gotta explain in, like, a few sentences what it does. You know, what does Pot of Greed do? You know? But you know what? Just imagine if that's how fights worked in real life. You know, like 95% talking with an occasional change of blows. You know, like if you're in a bar one night and you get up to go use the bathroom and somebody shoves you on the way there and it's like, oh, what's up, bro? You trying to start something, bro? Yeah, well, tell you what, bro, I feel personally that violence in this country is honestly something that a lot of people go to when they don't really want to deal with the initial problem at hand. Yeah, well, you know what? I agree with your philosophical standpoints and I would like to discuss this further. Yeah, well, you know what? I feel like the true hope of the mankind and the salvation of the entire planet hinges on human beings and what we choose to do with our existence. And having a fight right here with you right now is not something that's going to better mankind. Yeah, well, that reminds me of something Immanuel Kant once said. He said that, you know, wouldn't that just be great? Someone needs to make a YouTube video out of that. Not me, of course, because I don't drink alcohol and bars scare me. Okay, so the whole hope speech basically boils down to one simple thing. He says that, all right, Ichigo, let me level with you here, father to son time. I know that you can't kill me. Alright, you should know that you can't kill me. Alright, I'm stronger than you, I'm better than you, I can see the future. It doesn't matter if you try to change the future, I can see that point of the future too. But you shouldn't lose hope, because nothing is more depressing to a parent than a child that has fallen to despair and a lack of hope. So you should still try to attack me, and I'm still gonna kick your ass, but it'll be more entertaining if you do it with some vigor, you know what I mean? Okay, and at this point we get to the end of the chapter, and we get Ichigo's stunning rebuttal to that. The rebuttal to Yhwach stating that there's literally nothing you can do that is going to be able to beat me the way you are now. Ichigo's retort is, yeah, I've known that, but up until this point, I'll just climb up on those grains of sand and I'll kick you in your teeth. Okay, so, I mean, I'm sure that was really cool coming out of Ichigo's mouth, like, I've always kicked that despair right in the fucking jaw. But you have to understand what this all boils down to once you take all the bravado out of it, is basically, I'm gonna beat you up anyway, you like, that's all it amounts to. Ichigo, like, he's not really coming up with a strategy to overtake the future sight. He's just like, I'm gonna hit you a lot. Okay, you can see what I'm gonna do. All right, well, I'm gonna hit you even more. Okay, this is like, all right, so Yhwach's, like, I can see if you're gonna attack from right or from left. Either way, I'm gonna see it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna attack from the right. Okay, I can see that coming. Yeah, but I'm gonna attack from the right really forcefully, with a resolve in my heart. Alright, well, you're gonna die, but have fun with that. You know, like, that's basically where we're going. I mean, I don't know how else the chapter's gonna end now with Ichigo charging forward, but I can assume it's probably gonna include the words, Bankai! Woo! Ain't nothing like a good old-fashioned Ichigo Bankai chapter. You know what I'm talking about, ladies and gents? Back during Soul Society arc, he's fighting against Byakuya. He's like, you're not going to defeat me, Byakuya Kuchiki. I'm going Bankai. End of chapter. And then we had that moment about 200 chapters ago when he was fighting against Ginjo. And he's like, I don't give a shit what you're talking about, Ginjo. Combat pass, whatever. I'm going Bankai.
You know, Ichigo always breaks it down into 2 syllables. I love that. He doesn't just say, like, all the other captains, at least most of them, they're always very calm and collected usually when they say Bankai. You know, the power in Bankai is completely dependent on how you initiate it. You know, if you're just like, you know, Byakuya that's doing, like, Bankai, Simbon Zakura, Kageyoshi. I mean, that's lame. I mean, it's cool, but it's lame. You gotta imagine if Byakuya was like, Bankai, Simbon Zakura, Kageyoshi. It would be 100 times more effective. And Ichigo really gets those 2. I mean, he's diaphragm, man. You really gotta. It's like Bankai. You know, really gotta do it. Okay, so that aside, we look at his sword that appears to be changing its form, maybe a little bit. See, the way I'm looking at it, it might resemble sort of a lance. Halberd type weapon? I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because it's only just in the initial stages of transforming. But his sword used to only have like the one blade on it, right? Like his long sword, right? I mean, it was kind of jutting out from both ends, but the one end was clearly sharper than another. But in this form, it looks like it's branching off from 2 different directions, and it's having like kind of a lance sort of appearance, in my opinion. Maybe it's spearish, I don't know. Yeah, we're of course going to see its full effect next chapter. I don't think Kubo's going to cut away from it. Yeah, this also kind of breaks a hole in the whole idea that his swords are not his Shikai if he's going to Bankai now. The only reason I thought that is because you had that whole scene with Byakuya, like, you know what? There's no such thing as a constantly released Shikai type. You know, it's like, alright, well then what the hell's Ichigo? But then again, you have to remember that Ichigo is basically like the exception to every single rule in this series. Like, you know, the whole Hollow Quincy rule, he's the exception, you know. Final Getsuga Mugetsu, lowest Shinigami powers full bring, you know, he's basically the exception to everything. So, yeah, here. His Bowie knife is probably going to change in appearance too. Maybe they combine together to make the lance. Maybe it's a bow. Everyone's saying it's going to turn into a bow. I mean, hey, it kind of looks like the lower half of a bow. You know, if the handle's going to be the middle part, and then you know it branches out 2 ways, and then you know up and down. Maybe, I don't know. We still haven't really seen his Quincy powers manifest in a new transformation yet. We've seen him use his Quincy powers, just not manifest in a new form. So maybe that's going to be something with his new Bankai. But whatever it is, whatever it does, I'm hoping it has some sort of ability, because otherwise, if it's just the same old shit, where it's like, I'm in Bankai, so my speed, my strength, my Getsuga Tensho, my Ryatsu, all that shit just got a huge stat boost. It's like, okay, that's still not really going to help you, because you can't just defeat Yhwach with physical force. That's been stated time and time and time again. Yeah, I should basically say at this point, am I excited? Of course I'm excited. I mean, how could you not be excited whenever you see this? You know? But, like I said, Ichigo's gonna need something a little bit more than physical strength to beat Bach here. I'm hoping it's not a Deus Ex Machina. I hope it's not just Orihime's dead, rage power-up. I mean, yeah, whatever. Although, this will also be a prime time, of course, to cut back to see what's going on with Gerard. No. I can see it now. Next chapter. You start off with the fight with Gerard, or maybe the fight with Hashwolf and Uryu, and, you know, they're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. And then you hear this big explosion from the top of the Varvelt, and it's like, whoa, that Ryatsu, it's like geysering. It's stronger than I've ever felt before, and that's Ichigo's Bankai. Yeah, but we haven't seen we haven't seen a new Bankai from Ichigo in over 200 chapters. It was the last time it happened was when he fought against Ginjo, yeah. It's long awaited. I'm anticipating what his new Bankai is going to be like. There's been a lot of theories about it. I've been talking about this for years. I've made plenty of videos about it, so I'm very happy to see what it's going to be. Hopefully it'll do something new, and yeah, we'll see where this is going to go. So thanks for watching. Pretty much just another dialogue-heavy battle chapter. Gotta love those. This will be Tekking, signing out. Later, guys.